The O'Reilly Factor's on tonight.
I'm sure a lot of you may be asking what this new email story is about and why in the world the FBI would decide to jump into an election with no evidence of any wrongdoing.
The Clinton campaign hammered by new email suspicions. Is the FBI doing the right thing? Talking Points will address it tonight.
Hillary Clinton's corruption is on a scale we have never seen before.
Donald Trump taking full advantage of the latest FBI email controversy, even as poll numbers show he's gaining on Secretary Clinton. We'll have the facts.
Are you following the election closely?
Yeah, we try not to follow the election.
You try not
Next
to?
question.
Also ahead, Waters going to the end of the USA to talk about the election.
What do we have coming around the corner in November?
Who knows, bro?
Caution. You are about to enter the no-spin zone. Factor begins right now. Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. Hillary Clinton and the law. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. The October surprise is here. The FBI saying it is examining new evidence over allegations that Hillary Clinton may have violated national security by using a private email system as Secretary of State. Mrs. Clinton thought she had put this to rest when FBI Director Comey said the case was not strong enough to prosecute last summer. Upon hearing that, Congressman Elijah Cummings was overjoyed with Comey.
I don't know whether your family's watching this, but I hope that they are as proud of you as I am, because you are the epitome of what a public servant is all about.
But that was then. After Friday's announcement that Comey was reopening the investigation, Cummings had a different take.
I think here Director Comey made a grave mistake. We all make mistakes, but this is a grave mistake.
My question, how would the congressman know it's a grave mistake? He has not seen what the FBI has seen. Truth is, Elijah Cummings and other Democrats do not want to know the truth, do not want justice to take place. And that holds true for the President of the United States, Barack Obama, as well. Based on reporting by Fox News and other agencies, Talking Points has come to the conclusion that the President has made it quite clear to Attorney General Loretta Lynch that he does not want any prosecution of Hillary Clinton or any investigation into the Clinton Foundation. Mrs. Lynch got the message, and according to the Wall Street Journal, is furious that FBI Director Comey has reopened the email investigation. For his part, Comey had to inform Congress about possible new information because in September, he said this.
Would you reopen the Clinton investigation if you discovered new information that was both relevant and substantial?
It's hard for me to answer in the abstract. We would certainly look at any new and substantial information.
Yeah.
Comey's not a fool. He knows that if email on Huma Abedin's computer, that's Mrs. Clinton's top assistant, contains classified national security information, he knows that he, Comey, would eventually take the fall if he did not pursue obvious leads and tell Congress. So he had to go public, even though reports are Loretta Lynch did not want him to do so. The whole thing's a mess, with politics perhaps trumping justice. Even former Attorney General Eric Holder weighed in, saying Comey was wrong. This is the same Holder who was held in contempt of Congress because he failed to turn over documents related to the Fast and Furious gun scandal. Holder ran his Justice Department under President Obama in the most partisan political way possible. A deplorable situation. Unfortunately, it looks like Attorney General Lynch is doing the same thing. There is no question the new exposure is hurting Hillary Clinton. A new ABC News poll says 34% of Americans are now less likely to vote for her. Also, her poll numbers are falling. The Real Clear average is now less than 3% in her favor, down substantially in a week. Mrs. Clinton is not happy.
I'm sure a lot of you may be asking what this new email story is about and why in the world the FBI would decide to jump into an election with no evidence of any wrongdoing with just days to go. That's a good question.
And it is a question that deserves an answer, but we will not get that answer before Election Day. For his part, Donald Trump, who condemned Comey for letting Clinton off the hook last summer, is now happy.
And I have to give the FBI credit. That was so bad what happened originally, and it took guts for Director Comey to make the move that he made in light of the kind of opposition he had, where they're trying to protect her from criminal prosecution. You know that. It took a lot of guts.
Talking Points is not sure whether it took a lot of guts because, as stated, Comey would have eventually been held accountable if the emails on Ms. Abiden's computer show national security violations. So while Comey was covering his butt last summer, he may be also covering it now. Finally, there is a civil war within the FBI. Comey knows that. Some career agents have offered their resignations because they don't believe the Clinton email investigation was conducted in a rigorous way. Comey, Lynch, and President Obama could have saved the nation all of this turmoil had they done what they should have done in the first place, convened a federal grand jury to review the evidence presented by the FBI. That would have gotten politics out of it. But in America at this point in history, justice takes a back seat to politics. Not acceptable. And that's the memo. Now for the top story reaction, joining us from Washington, Charles Krauthammer. And you say?
Comey did the right thing. And Comey did the only thing he could do. He had absolutely no choice. There's no way when you've declared an investigation closed, and then you say, I would open it if I got new information. And he's presented with new information. How much of it he knows about the internals, we don't know. But he had no choice but to say that this is what's going on. Now, whether or not he knows that there is something that will torch her in those emails, nobody right now is in a position to know, which makes it such an impossible situation.
There are reports that the FBI agents who are looking at Ms. Abiden's computer, and this is Anthony Weiner's computer as well, both of them used it. There are reports they sat on this for a number of weeks. This just didn't happen. All right, so the FBI has been looking at this computer for a while. It seems to me that Comey never would, knowing now that Comey is a political player, never would have roiled the election unless somebody gave him a heads up, hey, this is serious.
Well, according to what I've read, and you and I are depending on what we read on this, this was not brought to his attention for several weeks. So if you want to accuse anybody of sitting on it, that would be the people in the case in New York who were looking to prosecute Anthony Weiner. That would not be the Comey people here who were looking into Hillary's emails.
That's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is if the FBI agents have been looking at this computer for weeks, they know, all right, what's on it, at least in part. And they wouldn't have flagged their boss because they know all hell would break loose unless there was something that they feel is important.
Well, look, that's what everybody is assuming, and that is why 34% of the electorate is less inclined to vote for Hillary because of this. Everybody assumes there's stuff on it that Comey knows what's on it, or at least in part, and that's why he felt he had to act, or he'd be run out of town if she wins the election. This is discovered.
Right.
He really had no choice, and I think, when it originally happened, when he originally issued his statement about her being careless, sort of amazingly, recklessly careless, but not wanting to indict, I did not agree with his conclusion, but I did not accuse him of bad faith. I was not one of those who thought he had betrayed anybody or anything. I think he wanted to do it precisely because he did not want to be the guy who changed the course of an election. The great irony is that he now is the guy who changes the course.
And that means that there had to be more there that disturbed him, because I think it's all about Comey. And I didn't like the FBI releasing the stuff Friday before Labor Day weekend. I thought that was a political move. What is your assessment of Attorney General Lynch?
She seems to me to be very weak, very much politically influenced, very much not somebody who stands on principle. I think she clearly has been one who wanted to make sure that there was no indictment of Hillary and no jeopardy to the Democratic campaign.
And you think that came from Obama?
That we can never know. Because I tell you what, if you're Attorney General, I don't think the president summons you to his office and says, hey, I want you to fix the deal.
Holder told her.
You know, when I know that doesn't happen.
Holder told her.
Well, whether it was Holder, I don't even think anybody's stupid enough to go ahead and say that. You know what your boss wants. This is such a common thing in every walk of life. You know, or you think, you impute what the boss wants. He doesn't have to say it, and that's why all this stuff happens.
So she's putting politics above justice, in your opinion?
It's the, will someone rid me of this troublesome priest? That's what happens. You don't say it. You don't have to say it. It's known by your henchmen. And they go out and they kill the Archbishop of Canterbury.
Charles, referring to Thomas Becket.
Yeah, but I have to tell you, Hillary is not a Satan, nor is Trump here. The one thing I think we're going to have, the president has to issue an executive order to install showers in every voting booth in America, because you're going to need it when you walk out.
All right, Charles, thank you. Next on the rundown, as we've reported, polls are getting tighter. Carl Rove will take a look at that. Then later, Waters going to the end of the USA to talk election politics. Up ahead. Campaign 2016 segment tonight. Polling last week at this time, the Real Clear Politics average had Hillary Clinton in front by 5%. Today, the number is 2.8%. Joining us from Austin, Texas, Carl Rove. I just can't make any. I got a whole bunch of new polls here. They're all over the place. What's your assessment?
Well, first of all, the Real Clear Politics as of tonight is 3.1. It's vibrated around a little bit today as they interjected new polls in it. And look, I don't think we're going to know until later in the week, but I'd be a little bit cautious about thinking there are going to be big effects from this. There are going to be effects, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, and virtually all of those effects are going to be to the advantage of Donald Trump. The question is it going to be sufficient? I say that for two reasons. First, you mentioned the number 34% are less likely to vote for for Clinton as a result of this. Those appear to be mostly people, virtually all of those are people who are already voting against Trump, voting against Clinton and voting for Trump. If you look inside that ABC Washington Post poll, 95% of Clinton supporters have an unfavorable opinion of Donald Trump. 90% of them strongly unfavorable. 97% of Trump supporters have an unfavorable opinion of Clinton. 90% of them strongly. Those are huge numbers. Now, what that means is there's not much pliability among those people. Sure, there are going to be a few Clinton people who are distressed about this and might not be inclined to vote. More importantly, there are going to be more people who are Trump supporters who are now enthused to turn out thinking their guy has a chance. But the conversions, the people who are going to go to the Trump column, they're to be found in that 7 or 8%.
Sure, and the independent voters also.
Yeah.
And the suppression of Hillary Clinton's vote. I mean, critical mass, if you're on the fence, you don't really like her, but you don't like Trump at all, you might go out, but now you're going, you know what? Enough's enough with this. And there's going to be more in the next 4 or 5 days. I expect the Democrats will throw something at Trump. There's going to be more. There's going to be more garbage coming out on both of them. So I expect a lower turnout than the Romney-Obama race. Do you?
I have for a long time. Now, we'll see if that's borne out. But, yes, I do think as a percentage of the voting age population that there's likely to be
and who does that
favor?
If, say, it's down 3 or 4%, who does that favor?
Well, it all depends. If it's among college-educated whites who supported Romney, it helps Clinton and hurts Trump. But if it is among younger voters and African-American voters and Latino voters, that hurts Clinton. So my sense is that we're going to see a little bit of both here.
All right. Now, I got a couple of state polling. I don't know these polls. I mean, Nevada comes out today with Remington Research. That's a Republican firm, right?
And I'd be a little bit. I'd be a little bit concerned about putting too much into any one poll, and particularly we had one good poll today, Survey USA. It's a reputable firm on Georgia. The other 4 polls that came out today that were state specific are Remington, which uses sort of robo phone calls. I'm not a huge fan of that. I'd take a look at those polls though in the context of what they do to the average. The Real Clear Politics average with all of those 5 states that were touched by the polls today. Pennsylvania, it's a 5-point advantage for Clinton with that new poll in. North Carolina, 3.9 for Clinton. Georgia, 3.4 for Trump. 5 point for Clinton in Colorado and 1.5 in Nevada. He's in striking distance here, and this is really critical there.
I gotta go. Mr. Rowe, thanks. Directly ahead, more evidence CNN was involved in dishonesty during a presidential debate. We will give you all the facts. It's very embarrassing. Up ahead. Impact segment tonight. As you may know, Donna Brazile was a CNN analyst for 14 years before she took over as the acting Democratic National Committee chairwoman. Now, according to hackers at WikiLeaks, emails show that while working for CNN, Ms. Brazile fed Hillary Clinton questions. One of them was actually used in a CNN debate with Bernie Sanders and Mrs. Clinton.
After my family, the city of Flint, and the children in D.C. were poisoned by lead, will you make a personal promise to me right now that as president in your first 100 days in office, you will make it a requirement that all public water systems must remove all lead service lines throughout the entire United States?
Hacked emails from John Podesta now show Ms. Brazile gave that exact question to Hillary Clinton in advance. Bernie Sanders had no idea. Today, Ms. Brazile issued this statement to The Factor, quote, lots of respect for Bill, he knows that. WikiLeaks is content without context, unquote. CNN issued this statement, quote, CNN never gave Brazile access to any questions, prep material, attendee list, background information, or meetings in advance of a town hall debate, unquote. Joining us now from Boston, Marianne Marsh, and here in New York City, Monica Crowley. So, how could Donna Brazile know the woman was going to ask that question if someone at CNN didn't tell her?
Didn't pass.
All right, unless she interviewed every one of the questioners on the CNN thing. So that's going to remain an unsolved mystery at this point. But there's no question it happened. No question it happened. It did. So how would, if you were Hillary Clinton, how would you have handled that? Would you have exposed it? I mean, taken it? What would you have done?
Well, look,
honest.
Yeah, for a year and a half, Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders on the right and the left have been arguing that the system is corrupt and rigged to benefit those with power, influence, and money, a la Hillary Clinton.
But if,
right?
again, come on, if you were Hillary, what would you have done?
Well, because Hillary Clinton has been on the national scene for 25 years and benefited from this kind of rigged system and corruption, you've got to be out of your mind to think that she would have exposed
So
this
if you
somehow.
were Hillary Clinton, you would not have, you would have
Well,
taken
I'm a different person than Hillary Clinton.
But that's what I'm asking
I would have
you.
exposed it because the integrity of our institutions and the truth are at risk here.
You say you would have exposed it.
Of course, if somebody brought it to my attention,
you would have
then I
said
was
you would have
tipped
thrown
off.
Donna Brazile under the bus if you were Hillary Clinton?
Well, I would have tried to do it under the radar a little bit. You know, I wouldn't have been like made a big public thing or gone to the New York Times, but I would have called it to somebody's attention and made sure that question was not in the town.
All right, how about you, Marianne? What would you have done had you been Hillary Clinton?
I think you would have declined the information. There was no need for it. She didn't need the information. She would have answered that question anyway. She'd been in Flint many, many times. And it didn't change the outcome of the debate, the primary, or the nomination.
But she knew
so it had no bearing.
that she was getting purloined. Edgar Allan Poe on Halloween, everyone. Purloined information from a CNN analyst. Hillary Clinton knew and said nothing, Marianne, nothing.
Bill, I don't think Hillary Clinton personally knew
How
that
could she not?
anyone, let alone
Brazile told Podesta she gave it to her.
No, Bill, this is how this works. If that happened, you'd say, look, we think one of the questions is going to be, or we hear one of the questions is going to be,
We think
you don't
we
say,
hear.
we got
and
this
then
from
the exact
somebody.
same question is asked. if I'm Hillary Clinton on the debate stage, I'm going to say I decline to answer that question because I had it in advance. That's what I say. No, oh, you're laughing at me for being an honest guy?
No, I'm not. I'm saying if you knowingly received purloined information and you describe it the way. No. Hillary Clinton did not.
Well,
Other people.
Sure she did.
No, Bill, nobody walked into Hillary Clinton's green room or debate prep or town hall meeting prep and said, hey, guess who gave us this question? Here it is, and here's what they're going to say.
I don't understand
it. It doesn't work like that.
Well,
it
certainly works like that because Donna Brazile told John Podesta in charge of the campaign that she did it.
Look, that doesn't mean they related to her.
None of this happens in a vacuum. You asked me earlier if you were Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton has been doing this for 25 years.
How do you know?
She's been the beneficiary of this kind of stuff for 25 years.
Wait a minute. How do you know Hillary Clinton's been being fed questions for 25 years?
Well, not this specific thing, but she's gotten away with massive corruption for 25 years. And it's the reason why she's considered the most corrupt person to run in recent history, Bill. Because
Let's just deal with this. Can we just deal
but I'm
with
saying
this?
that this does not come in a vacuum. And so when she was given the questions, of course she didn't call it to anybody's attention because she's been getting away with this stuff for 25
years. Now,
years.
CNN, Marianne, has cut ties. I mean, because I guess Donna Brazile took a leave of absence to do the political thing. But now she's not welcome back there, according to CNN. I kind of feel sorry for Donna in a way. I don't think she's a bad woman. I know her as she's not. But this was absolutely wrong on her part and absolutely wrong for Hillary Clinton not to say, I'm not going to take that question because I knew about it in advance. Right?
Two things.
Right?
One, Donna Brazile is a great person. I like her. I know her. And I'm sure when the election's over, we may hear some more. No, I am, Bill. Hillary Clinton, nobody went to Hillary Clinton. You have no evidence that Hillary Clinton got this question directly and said, we got this from Donna Brazile.
Said she told her.
You know that
That's
John
the only
Podesta
evidence
got it?
I have.
You know that John Podesta got it.
You lose big time.
And we're not in one. We're in the court of public opinion and politics.
And you're going to lose that as well. Ladies, thanks very much.
See.
Plenty more Heads of Factor moves along this evening. We'll talk with former Attorney General Michael McCasey. Very simple question. Is the Department of Justice, as it stands now, corrupt? And Waters talking politics in Key West, Florida.
What do you think about WikiLeaks?
Amazing.
Yeah. We hope you stay tuned for those reports. Unresolved Problem segment tonight, an outrageous situation at DePaul University in Chicago. A poster reading Unborn Lives Matter was designed by the College Republican Club. They asked the nation's largest Catholic university for permission to post a sign on campus. They were denied. Joining us now from Chicago, John Minster, Vice President of the College Republicans at DePaul, and Joran Burkhart, a junior who made the poster. Joran, I believe this is because you were denied because they didn't like, they being the administration at DePaul, you using the same phrase as Black Lives Matter. Is that correct?
Hi, Bill. Yeah, that's accurate. They have all but endorsed the Black Lives Matter movement by having their posters and signs up within university offices. But then as soon as a student group wants to, I'd say, alter that slogan to point to a different group of people that we recognize as being marginalized, they use that term a lot. I don't usually like to use that term, but I think it applies to unborn.
Well, marginalized, they're in danger in some cases. Mr. Minster, the Black Lives Matter movement, are they endorsed outwardly by DePaul's administration?
So the university doesn't necessarily endorse them straight up. They don't say that we endorse everything that the Black Lives Matter movement stands by. However, they do prevent certain things from happening that could potentially challenge them in any way, shape, or form. We've had speakers in the past where the university essentially allowed people under the guise of Black Lives Matter to essentially ransack events, and now in this case they're stopping the basic Catholic value of pro-life ethics from being expressed because they're worried that it might provoke the
All right,
Black
this is what the administration said, and a guy, the president is Dennis Holtschneider, right?
Holtschneider.
Okay.
Holtschneider, yeah.
Here under this is what, and he's a priest. Here's what he says, quote, "Some people will say DePaul's stance unfairly silences speech to appease a crowd. Nothing can be further from the truth. Students and others will almost certainly continue to explore and seek the exact limits of our tolerance for free expression when that expression is meant to cause distress." Here we go. "Certainly everyone is allowed to have their opinions on these topics. I simply ask that when you are expressing your opinion that you respect the difference between a reasoned discussion and words whose primary purpose is to wound." So basically, Jorian, they're saying that your sign was made to wound Black Lives Matter. That's what they're saying, what this priest is saying.
Yeah, I mean, any person with common sense would see the poster that I designed, and they wouldn't say that that's meant to wound.
I would think about Black Lives Matter, to be honest. But I wouldn't say that you're denigrating him. You're just trying to stick up for the unborn.
Correct.
I think I would add, too, Bill, that 28% of abortions in this country are African-American children, despite the fact that African-Americans make up just 13% of the population. If you want to talk about Black Lives Matter, if you want to talk about not hearing people, I think standing up for those black unborn children is an important way to start. And I think this poster certainly expressed that to at least some extent, but apparently DePaul has no interest in actually allowing
It's almost shocking at the nation's largest Catholic university, DePaul, would do this. It's shocking, and there's no justification for it. You guys should continue to speak out on campus, write articles about it, bring it to the attention of the administration, and maybe they'll wise up, because this is really, really out there. Gentlemen, we appreciate you coming on tonight. When we come right back, former Attorney General Michael Mukasey will comment on how the FBI and the Justice Department are handling the latest Hillary Clinton email situation. Then Waters talking politics in Key West, Florida. We're coming right back.
24/7, Channel 115. The O'Reilly Factor, the #1 cable news show for 16 years and counting.
Thanks for staying with us. And Bill O'Reilly in a personal story segment tonight. Former U.S. Attorney General Michael Mukasey, who served in that office for 2 years under President Bush the Younger, not happy with the way the Justice Department is handling the Hillary Clinton email case. He joins us now here in New York City. If you were Attorney General at this moment, what would you have done? Not at this moment, but say for the last year, year and a half. What would you have done to investigate the email situation?
I like to think that I wouldn't have been in the pickle that the current Attorney General is in. I like to think that there would have been a real investigation, which is to say you interview her early, you get her on the record early, you use a grand jury to gather evidence when people are not willing to turn it over. So when Cheryl Mills and Heather Samuelson have computers that you want to look at, you don't confine yourself to please.
The grand jury issues a subpoena.
And they cough it up.
Why, in your experience, would Loretta Lynch not call for a grand jury? It wasn't Comey's purview to do that. It was Comey's boss, the Attorney General. She could have said, we need a grand jury in this case to look at what the FBI has come up with, correct?
Sure. And you wouldn't need the Attorney General to say, we need a grand jury in this case. Agents working the case, the FBI director, the people within the department working the case would have been able to resort to a grand jury without...
But they'd have to get her permission because she's their boss, right? Just
not in every investigation.
But this is huge.
I understand this is huge. All right, yes, you'd have to get her permission.
Right.
And would I have given mine? In a minute.
Okay. But that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to establish a chain here.
Right.
As I said in the Talking Points memo, I believe President Obama made it quite clear to Loretta Lynch and to the FBI that he did not want any kind of indictment in the email situation. That's my belief based on reportage. Is that your belief?
It is my belief, and it's based on a statement that he made at one point in an interview where he said he didn't think that she ought to be charged because she didn't intend to cause any harm.
Yeah, how would he know?
Forget how he would know. That's not an element of any crime that she could have been charged
with. And he shouldn't be even commenting on an ongoing investigation. Is that correct?
Correct.
Ethically?
Correct.
So we both agree here, and we could be wrong, but probably not, that President Obama sent out signals, all right, not in writing, but signals to Loretta Lynch and to Comey, hey, don't do this. That's politics interfering with the U.S. Justice, is it not?
It is. It is. And it's something that is as old as, goes back to the 12th century. Goes back to Henry II saying, who will rid me of this turbulent priest.
Right. And when he was talking
Thomas
about
Becket, right? Thomas Becket gets stabbed to the cathedral.
Even closer, Richard Nixon fired, all right, Attorney General and Assistant Attorney General for doing things in the Watergate investigation that he didn't want done.
Well, he directed them to fire the special prosecutor. Right. They refused.
Well, he in effect fired them.
Yeah, and
you can't continue unless you do this.
They resigned.
Right.
They resigned.
So
that would have been the honorable thing to do.
What you're saying, Judge, is that the justice system and the Justice Department is corrupt right now.
No, I don't. The Justice Department has thousands upon thousands of employees. Those people go to work.
The leadership.
Well, yeah, the leadership is compromised in substantial ways in this case. But there are people who go to work every day at that department who don't want to listen to that.
We're not indicting the investigators because I understand there's a split within the FBI about this. Now, Comey himself, as I said, had to do this because he told Congress if anything else comes up, I'm gonna let you know, right?
Yeah, but he painted himself into that corner.
Of course he did, because he was following orders from the President and the Attorney General. Find a way not to indict, right?
If that was the reason, I don't know, but he certainly appears that he was following the principle of the King's wish.
Now, when Comey came out and excoriated Secretary Clinton and then said, but there was an intent, as a judge, you said what?
What I said was there are a lot of statutes that do not require intent or do not require the kind of intent he was talking about. He said there was no intent to expose
national
security.
Right.
All you need is gross negligence in the handling of national security information. And when he said that that is constitutionally suspect, that is flat out wrong. We prosecute people every day for criminally negligent homicide.
And we've done a last question. When you saw that Loretta Lynch and Comey, the head of the FBI, did not call for a grand jury, did you know the fix was in?
I forget the point at which it was clear that there wasn't going to be a prosecution. But when they stopped short of using a grand jury at any point, it was clear to me that nothing was going to happen.
Okay. They don't want to investigate the foundation either, the Clinton Foundation either. That's coming down. We're not going to do that tonight because we're assembling more information. But they don't want to do that either. They don't want to even look at it. So this is a mess. This is an embarrassment for the U.S. Justice Department, correct?
It's an embarrassment. I'm hoping that the department can wash it off when somebody else is in charge.
Okay, Judge. We appreciate you coming in. Water's on deck. He goes to Key West to talk presidential politics. That should be dubious. Right back with him.
Vandalia.
Tonight, Waters World on Saturday, Key West, Florida, held its annual Fantasy Fest, which is a 10-day festival designed to get people to go to Key West. Theme this year, political voodoo and ballot box barbarians. Waters went down there.
What's Fantasy Fest all about?
Getting naked and having fun.
It's about a lot of fun, a lot of freaks. Next question.
Are you cold?
A little bit.
I can tell.
Yeah.
I was in the pool!
What's your fantasy?
I don't think I can say that on air.
What's your fantasy, besides me?
Take it easy. Relax.
What do we have coming around the corner in November?
Who knows, bro?
Big event coming up around the corner. What do you think's going to happen?
I think I might get hit in the head with a lot of beads.
Which event? The parade? Or it could be Halloween.
Who knows? Who cares?
Big event coming down the pipeline. What do you think?
I would have to say Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho.
The election? I'm not voting. My vote doesn't count. The election. We try not to follow the election.
Obamacare's entering the death spiral.
I am about to get rid of my Obamacare myself.
You didn't have enough coverage?
We're going streaking through the quad!
Do you think we should bring in all these Syrian refugees to Key West?
I think we should certainly bring in some, and that's the conundrum.
Can they stay at your house?
I'll take one!
So they can spend the night at your house?
Absolutely, as long as they're cute.
Southern border, chaos, wall or no wall?
There's already a wall there, idiot.
Are you talking to me?
Are you a Trump girl or a Hillary girl?
Neither.
Do you care who's going to win?
I don't root for either of them.
Vote Hillary.
We're on the Trump train.
Make America great again.
Oh, I'm with her.
Does Hillary's email situation concern you?
No.
Does anything concern you?
No.
Do you have second thoughts about Hillary after the FBI reopened the email investigation?
They didn't reopen the investigation. They found other emails related to her, not from her server.
How do you know that?
Because I saw it on TV.
Call it a hunch.
He was born guilty.
You're about as innocent as Hillary.
Even though she up and she was irresponsible, I'd still rather have her over Trump.
I'd rather have someone who's had a car wreck than someone who's never driven.
Here we are.
Oh, yay! What do you think about WikiLeaks?
Amazing.
It seems like you and Trump have a lot in common.
I absolutely were both jerks.
Look what you did, you little jerk.
Can I hold your staff?
Yeah.
It's a big staff.
Okie dokie.
You're a fan of The Factor?
We all big time, and you.
You know who I am, right?
Absolutely.
Tom Waters. Tom Waters. Tom Waters.
And this is your world.
And this is my world.
Yeah.
Ooh.
God, you're a sick man.
All right, with Waters, no kids down there, right?
Well, I saw one 9-year-old walking around. Trouble.
Yeah.
I wish I was 9 when I was down there.
Did you see any cops or anything? Are there any?
The cops were leading the parade.
Oh, the cops were in the parade.
Yeah, the cops led the parade, and then
Dressed
Ron Jeremy was right behind them.
Dressed like cops.
Okay. One guy actually imitated a cop, and no one knew the difference.
Because I know it's all good fun, but it's not for the kids.
Yeah, and I was not having a good time.
You were not?
I was just pretending to enjoy myself. I don't like these assignments. I just want to let the record show.
All right, Waters, there you go. And if you believe that, we'd like to remind you that Waters has joined the Spin Stops Here tour in 2017. Coming right up, we roll into Tulsa, Oklahoma on Friday, January 13. Reading, Pennsylvania, the next night, January 14th. Omaha, Nebraska, Friday, March 24th. Tacoma Dome in Washington, Saturday, March 25th. Westbury, Long Island, my home field, Saturday, June 17th. Tickets make outstanding Christmas and Hanukkah gifts. Get them before they sell out. Info on BillO'Reilly.com. Factor tip of the day, young baseball player tragically killed in a boating accident. Now we know why. The tip, moments away. Baseball star was killed in a moment. But first, Amazon has a special Kindle deal for Killing the Rising Sun. You might want to check that out. And if you would like signed editions of Rising Sun, please get those orders into BillO'Reilly.com now, because we're flooded. Again, they make great gifts for the season. Now the mail. Rich Valanet, Grays Lake, Illinois. Hey, Bill, been watching you for 15 years. Lately, you've been favoring the Clintons. Bud Mullins, Purcell, Oklahoma. Bill, your questions to Donald Trump were fair, but I never heard you say you agree with him. On occasion, I'll agree with something a politician says, and we'll state that. My job's to get information, not root for anybody. Mark Guzan, Pompano Beach, Florida. Bill, please stop interrupting Trump. Not going to happen with any politician. You want a monologue? Go to his rally, Mark. Knock yourself out. Ken Riley, Denville, New Jersey. Bill, when you interview Trump, you sound like you are superior. Is it because you are jealous of him? Absolutely, Ken. You nailed it. Robert Anderson, Naugatuck, Connecticut. What does the 20 mean next to the O'Reilly Factor logo? That we've been on the air for 20 years, Robert. Dr. Lawrence Tucker, Newport Beach, California. I'm an African-American physician who believes that social welfare programs handicap our community. I was born the product of a single mother, grew up in Compton, joined the Marines, and that took me out of the ghetto. I am supporting Trump for president. Quite a story, Doctor. Congratulations on achieving success in the marketplace and helping others most of all. Vladimir Chernevkov, Bel Air, Maryland. I am 14 and just finished Killing the Rising Sun. Bill, you and Martin Dugard do great work. Well, it's always good to hear. We appreciate you reading the book, Vlad. Good for you. And finally tonight, the factor tip of the day. On September 25th, Miami Marlins pitcher Jose Fernandez, 24 years old, a big star, one of the best pitchers in the league, was killed when his boat crashed into a jetty. On Saturday, toxicology reports were released showing Fernandez had cocaine in his system. He was also intoxicated by alcohol. His two friends, who also died, were found with intoxicants in their systems as well. So once again, young people die because of lack of self-control. Using cocaine or any other hard drug is dangerous. Those who sell hard drugs are vicious criminals. Our society is entirely too lax and justifies drug trafficking to the extent that it no longer carries a stigma. That is a disgrace. Factor tip of the day, if you use hard drugs and abuse alcohol, expect bad things to happen. And that is it for us tonight. Please check out the Fox News Factor website, different from BillO'Reilly.com. Also, we'd like you to spout off about the Factor from anywhere in the world. O'Reilly at FoxNews.com, O'Reilly at FoxNews.com. Name and town if you wish to opine. Word of the day, do not be a farceur. A farceur when writing to the Factor. All right, tomorrow we have Mike Pence, Governor Pence, entering the no-spin zone, and that should be very interesting. Lots of questions for him. And then we're going to have, you're going to see, beginning on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, this national polling and state-by-state polling start to shift. And we're also expecting Democrats to throw something at Trump. So stay with us every night this week. I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks again for watching us tonight. And please remember that the spin stops here because we are definitely looking out for you.